Good morning, good morning, good morning. It's your girl, Becky D, live in the morning, 7 days a week, 7 a.m. Um, this should be an interesting week because a lot of it will be, not me necessarily on the road or on the go unless I got, invited to something. It will more than likely be me sitting in the crib looking at the same four walls because I really ain't got nothing to do besides working from home, catching up on some classes, and continuing to be great from my crib. Other than that, unless y'all trying to invite me someplace, St. Patrick's Day look like it done got shut down, so can't really ask for an invite for that, but we'll figure it out. But not what I wanted to talk about today because everybody else is talking about that. It's getting played out and is done now. All right. But let's talk about the people in your life that don't give you credit and definitely don't want to put the work in. Okay. So I have a friend who owns a business, and she went into the business with actually a business partner. Apparently, I found out the other day. Apparently, the business partner is still around, but her and I gonna have a separate conversation about that. So what happened was, they were on a conference call, and apparently the guy didn't know that she had already had contacts with the lady, and so the lady was texting her the whole time. It's like, it's funny that he's acknowledging you as being a part of this. When I talked to him, he said this was his own thing and that, nobody else was helping him with it. He was the sole owner and everything. And so, they're talking in a text message while they're actually all on the phone together. And she was like, that's really funny because business is in my name and I pay him. So, so he didn't want to give her any of the credit for being basically the business owner, and she just let him in for the ride and for the money, But he still expected her to do 90% of the work. That's why they had a conference call. So, I was looking at that and I was like, and you still talk to old dude? Like, after all that, I was like, hey, bruh, I'm sorry. We need to have a different type of conversation here. I think it's time for you to bounce. So she did. She cut his responsibilities, but I think they just chatted the other day. But it's nothing that's gonna fall back into his role of what it once was in the business. But you never want to stop doing your best just because someone doesn't want to give you the credit. And I really appreciate the fact that she didn't. She didn't stop her grind. She didn't stop her job. She didn't shut down her business just because old girl was being honest with her. It's like, he didn't mention you. He didn't say this was your company. In fact, he said, this is my company and I will have my assistant get in contact with you. So he even downplayed her role. Like, what is that? What is that, y'all? That's crazy. And honestly, he never wanted to be a part of the process. He just wanted the outcome, which in this case is money, which a lot of times it is going to be money in a lot of outcomes. He just wanted that money, just wanted that check. Because honestly, just in my talkings with her, he ain't never really did nothing. She did everything. She worked late nights. She worked early mornings. She slept with the laptop in her bed. She still do that. But, she does 98% of the work and still gives him a percentage. I don't think that's fair. And I think after our conversation that we had over dinner, I think I finally got that through to her that, hey, I respect you. I applaud you for everything you're doing. You making moves for women everywhere. But at the same time, if he don't want to be fair in everything, you gotta let him go. It's in your name. I could see if it was different. It was in his name and whatnot, and that was her only source of income and stuff. Nah. And it's not. So I was like, you ain't gotta put yourself through this, baby girl. Continue to do you. Continue to grind. Continue to shine. Okay? But you really have to understand that sometimes we get in our own ways. We look at things and we're just like, oh, well, I shouldn't do this because they'll never, support me. They'll never back me. But at times, you just got to be like, who cares? Who cares? for years there's been ideas in my head and things I wanted to do, and I just stopped it. So of course I stopped my creativity, I stopped my imagination because of fear, one, and two, of just not knowing if I have the support, if I have the people who want to acknowledge me, pretty much give me that credit that I took something and or nothing and made it into something. And so this year, literally just this year, I've decided that I'm done with that, and I'm going to continue to do me. I'm going to continue to thrive and survive and live and do the things that I want to do and the things that make me happy, and to just really get things out there, share my story, share everything. Like that book that I keep mentioning that I'm still writing. I didn't publish it because of fear, because of things that it talks about that I know a lot of people I know won't agree with and stuff like that. So I really withheld that. I really tried to hold that in. But then, like, with my business, there's things that I won't advertise that I do because I know that I have a lot of conservative people around me in my world, in my field, and I follow this one guy. You can even find him on Instagram. JC Shot This, and is like my inspiration to a lot of my pictures and films that I want to do. And I'm just like, you know what? I'm pretty sure he had to just say one day, "It is what it is, and let's do it." So this kind of brings me back to talking again to your circle and who you let in, and pretty much who you let encourage you, and who you let like thrive, and who you let into your ear, and kind of like that motivation. Sometimes personal motivation is the best way to go, because you let somebody in your ear and all they're doing is just manipulating you in a way. Sometimes there's genuine people out there, and some people aren't as genuine. That's like my best friend today. She early this morning she sent me a message saying that it was like, one of those crazy Facebook things that people have been doing. She was like, you're a real best friend when you can go months, years, decades without talking, and they'll still respond back to you if you say, "Hey, what you doing tomorrow at 6?" And I told her, I was like, facts, this is definitely us. But we're each other's motivation. Like, she's having a stressful time at work right now, as anybody who's in the social work field, medical field, whatever the case may be, and as well as the educational field. And I was like, hey, I'm gonna try to come to town at least, once or twice, because she was like, she just wanted something, warm to eat. And I was just like, well, you said you just really wanted something warm. You just want a hug. Like, I mean, it's stressful. You gotta wake up in the middle of the night to your phone ringing off the hook and whatnot. That gets you after a while. But if I wasn't genuine, I would just be like, oh, girl, just think about that money you're gonna get at the end. And no. Okay, I'm offering her a hug because I think that's more important than any amount of money she's gonna get. What about her well-being? What about her mental being? Okay, she can't sleep. You try getting several phone calls in the middle of the night and tell me how well you're going to be sleeping. Okay, it's almost like a no-go. So hopefully someday this week we'll be able to link up, and I'll be able to be that boost of motivation and encouragement she needs, so she can make it through. I know she is happy for Monday, because she told me that's when it's her time with answering calls late in the middle of the night is done, and it's somebody else's turn. So hopefully she's able to pass on a little bit of encouragement when she passes on the duties. But it's just, you gotta find good sounding motivational advice. Okay, and that's what I try to be for people. I'm try to be as genuine as possible. Not understand once you cross me. Do I be a little salty sometimes? Yeah, I'm not gonna lie about that. But I'm not the type of person that's not gonna give you your credit, that's not gonna try to be in the process with you. It's just certain things I have to guard myself with because I can put myself in vulnerable situations sometimes. But I give you the greatest example. Greatest example of my type of motivation. As a little kid, actually happened this last week, and I was telling her, I was like, I always try to tell the kids randomly that that I love them and that I think they're doing awesome. Even if I just got through correcting them for something they were doing, I'll still let them know that I love them and that I care about them because they don't get that a lot. And so I told her, I was like, can I talk to you for a second? I mean, this little kid's in kindergarten. She doesn't know anything about, can I talk to you for a second? And so she was like, yeah. I was like, here, pull up a chair, let's talk. So I'm talking to her, and I was like, I just wanted to let you know I'm proud of you. And she was like, okay. Now, the reason this child is like, sticks out so much to me, she is like a miniature version of me when it comes to emotions and, like, affection and stuff like that. It's just a no-go for us. I don't know what it is, but we won't get it right. And so I was like, you don't understand how much you've grown just from like the beginning of this month. Like you've done drastic things. And so she was like, yeah, okay, whatever you say type deal. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna show you. So if you don't know, recently in schools they started doing reading levels. Okay, so then that's a whole thing. They put it on the alphabetical system and whatnot. Me growing up, they said I could read a 1 point something book. They put the grade level and then what part of the grade level. I don't know where this A, B, C, D, E, F, and G stuff come into play. But anyways, and so I pulled a book, didn't let her see what letter it was. I said, here, we're gonna read this together. So I mean, it was a few things that she's still learning. Again, I said she's kindergarten, and I was like, we're gonna do this. So I helped her with a few words, and I pointed out, since kindergarten still got pictures, I was like, look at the picture, what is a picture of, and kind of talked her through it. And then she picked it up, and then she got it, and then she read the whole book to me. And so then I was like, okay, so here you go, look at the front of the book. And she noticed, and she looks, and she was like, but this is a level C book. And I said, yeah. And she's like, but I haven't even read a level B book. I said, why are we going to waste our time going step by step by step when I already know what you can do? And I mean, she had a smile on her face. And so then I started, like, waving the book at her. And I was like, I know you're not a hugger, so this is what you're going to get. But I was like, nah, if you hug me, I'll leave you alone. She still wouldn't hug me. But, but it encouraged her. It motivated her to, like, hey, I can actually do this thing. Like, I don't know what she hears at home. Hopefully nobody calls her dumb. Hopefully nobody calls her stupid. But not only did I build a relationship with her, but I motivated her at the same time. Now she feels like she's going places in kindergarten. I know it's just a start, but hey, if I can get her to keep reading like that, and to read it flawlessly the way she did, we good. And then I have hope in my future again, because I was worried for a second. I'm still worried about the generation that's a little bit below me with eating the Tide Pods. We need to talk about that. Y'all can take credit for that. I'm gonna give y'all credit for that, because that was dumb. I don't know why anybody would want to do that. So sidetracked. But go out, motivate somebody today. Check your motivational sources. Make sure they're genuine, okay? And make sure they're always there for you, and they'll always ride for you no matter what, all right? As always, my name is Becky D with Becky D in the Morning. We live 7 days a week, 7 a.m. I want to thank you all so much for listening and tuning in. And as always, if nobody tells you today, know that I love you from the deep depths of my heart. Always will, and always will be true. I will talk with you in the morning.